wanted to talk to you about the new moon that we have taking place in Virgo on Thursday, September 14th. The month of September is a very productive month, and there is a lot of momentum that begins to pick up. At the same time, there are a lot of planets retrograde, and I recently saw a comment on the internet which describes this energy perfectly. Somebody actually wrote, and I wish I could remember where I saw this to give it the proper credit, but somebody actually wrote, it's as if somebody put me in the blender and hit the frappe button. And they were referring to the current astrology and the current energies. And that is, in a way, exactly what it feels like. But at the same time, this is a very productive energy. We are in Virgo season. Virgo is the sign of structure, rules, precision, details, trying to make things better, organized chaos. And that brings me to the new moon in Virgo that takes place on September the 14th. The spiritual significance of a new moon is every 29-ish, 29 and a half days, we're going to have a new moon. This is one thing that we can always count on. The moon is consistently renewing itself. Therefore, so can we. Now, the moon dictates over many things and governs over many areas of life in astrology. It is our deep, innate emotional instincts and patterns. It is our habits and behaviors. The moon moves very quickly through the zodiac. The moon moves about 12 degrees per day to be approximate, and switches signs every 2 to 2.5 days. And you can best believe that the collective overtone shifts energies just as that moon shifts into the next sign. So the new moon is always the point of the lunar cycle where we renew. We start fresh. We set intentions. It is known to be an auspicious time of abundance and fertility. It's a time to set our goals, set intentions, and track our progress. So this new moon takes place in the sign of Virgo on September the 14th. At 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to pull up the chart and actually show you the aspects surrounding this new moon. But before we get to that, you may want to see where this new moon is going to affect you personally, where this new moon will take place in your birth chart, in your life. And maybe you want to set an intention or two specifically in that area of your life. And new moons are always a time of setting intentions, of lamenting on what is possible, what is plausible. And it's Virgo, so this is about where we can create structure in our own lives, where we can clear the clutter, clear the chaos, do better, heal. That's Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, and it is all about healing, making things better, creating a schedule, creating a structure, creating an order. And sometimes we create that out of chaos. And that is what this Virgo new moon is all about. This new moon is encouraging all of us to recharge our batteries spiritually, emotionally, physically, romantically, professionally, all of the above. We are being encouraged to clean it up, to clean and clear the clutter in whichever way that takes place for you. So let me go ahead and pull up a chart to show you. Now remember, every new moon, every full moon is going to have a different planetary theme surrounding it, a different planetary energy surrounding it, several different planetary energies surrounding that particular lunation, which is why they all feel different and they all impact us all individually differently. And that's why I always say you probably want to check your own birth chart to see where that new moon is going to fall for you. Let me help you out with that. If you are an Aries rising, this is going to take place in your 6th house. If you're a Taurus rising, it's going to take place in your 5th house. If you're a Gemini rising, it's going to take place in your 4th house. If you're a Cancer rising, it's going to take place in your 3rd house. If you're a Leo rising, it's going to take place in your 2nd house. If you are a Virgo rising, it is going to take place in your 1st house. If you're a Libra rising, it's going to take place in your 12th house. If you're a Scorpio rising, it's going to take place in your 11th house. If you're a Sagittarius rising, it's going to take place in your 10th house. If you're a Capricorn rising, it will take place in your 9th house. Aquarius rising, it will take place in your 8th house. And Pisces rising, it will take place in your 7th house. Make sure you actually check your birth chart, okay? Check it under the system of Placidus, under the house system of Placidus, okay? Because that might change. So I might say if you're Aries rising, it's in your 6th house, but dependent upon the degrees of your particular ascendant, you may actually be in the 5th house or in the 7th. So it's pretty precise, especially when you have your exact time of birth. So let's go ahead and pull up the chart. Here we have the chart for our Virgo new moon that takes place on September 14th at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time. This new moon takes place at 21 degrees and 58 minutes of Virgo. We can see it right here. So again, check your own birth chart and see where this new moon is going to fall for you. Check your transits. Now, everybody will feel this energy and benefit from this energy, but it's going to be felt the most strongly for our mutable signs, which are Virgo especially, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. And even more so if your points and or placements in your birth chart, specifically your sun, moon, or rising sign, fall between 19 and 23 degrees of any of the mutable signs, which again are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. If that gets lost on you, don't worry about it. Just listen to the message of this new moon. Listen to the meaning. Mercury, the planet of communication, information, transportation, travel. Mercury is the planetary ruler of the sign of Virgo. So this makes this a Mercury-ruled new moon. Mercury is currently retrograde. Now, this is very significant because not only is Mercury retrograde, but Mercury is about to station direct on the 15th, on the heels of this new moon. This is extremely significant because whenever a planet is about to station retrograde or direct, the properties of that planet are heightened. That planet is like grinding to a halt, grinding down on us, blaring down on us. So we've got this strong mercurial energy surrounding this new moon. So don't be surprised if you receive a very vital piece of information that gives you that aha moment that you've been looking for months. I want you to track this new moon back to the end of August when we had the full supermoon in Pisces. That was a very emotional full moon, and it likely brought up a lot to the surface for you in one or more areas of your life. Now, this new moon in Virgo is going to probably be a continuation of that, but in a more positive manner. So really pay attention to what is coming up for you, what is coming through to you, especially through the dream space, because Mercury retrograde is delivering information from all layers and levels of consciousness. That's what Mercury does. And Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, let's not forget. And Mercury is about to station direct. So the properties, the energies of Mercury are heightened. And Mercury over here at 8 degrees of Virgo is actually opposite Saturn. So this brings in a very serious energy. This could bring up something about your physical health, something that might have been challenging for you in the past, and you're starting to recognize like what you might need to do to clean it up, to make it better. Very strong energy surrounding that. So pay very close attention to your physical health, especially if you have strong Pisces and or Virgo. This is the axis of healing, of health. We've got Uranus over here at 22 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is the planet of freedom, innovation, change, sometimes disruptive change. Uranus is currently in the sign of Taurus. This makes it a trine to the new moon in Virgo, which is a supportive aspect. This could bring in very strong psychic visions, very strong flashes of inspiration and insights. The higher mind is very much activated. This is a very strong intuitive energy. Think of it like the camera flashing, that quick flash where you finally get that insight that you've been seeking for months and all of a sudden it becomes clear to you. That's this energy. The trick is not to obsess over it. The trick is not to think it so much through that we lose the magic of the intuition. Now we also have Neptune over here at 28 degrees of Pisces. And Neptune is in an opposition to this new moon. And this is mutable energy, which means changeable, flexible, adaptable, and sometimes chaotic. And you know, when I talk about Neptune, I always say Neptune energy can be like landing an airplane in fog. You get very close to the ground, and then all of a sudden the fog is just too much, and then you have to ascend. And then eventually, when the clouds part, you descend and you see things more clearly and you land on the ground. That's Neptune. That's how Neptune operates. Neptune is in an opposition to this new moon, so it can feel a little bit like that. You see the forest through the trees. You know what you want to do, you know what you need to do, but it's just not 100% clear yet. You're not totally clear for landing. That's okay. Honor where you are. Again, it's a very strong energy of intuition, trusting yourself, going inward. I want to emphasize the good here with this new moon. Clarity is the key word. Clarity is kicking in, it's kicking on. We've got Mercury stationing direct. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. It's a new moon in Virgo. Trine Uranus. Amazing for activating the higher mind, for seeing things a different way, for bringing in solutions. We've also got Jupiter here at 15 degrees of Taurus, currently retrograde, lined up loosely with Uranus at 22 degrees of Taurus. And we're going to talk about that more as we move into 2024. But Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, this is about our money. This is about our finances. This is about expansion. In the background, in the periphery, this is all about recognizing the opportunities. What is enriching our lives? And that's not just about financially, that's about spiritually, that's about emotionally. And yes, of course, materially is a part of that. But it's important to pay attention to what is in the backdrop of our lives right now, both collectively and personally. We have a lot of earth energy right now, which is very helpful for grounding ourselves, for making something practical and tangible that's going to last, from building a foundation. Very strong energies around that. Again, Mercury is super strong right now. Mercury is the planet of our mind, of our communicative capacities. And in Virgo, it's about facts, it's about details, it's about precision. It's about structure. So this is a new moon where we are gaining clarity, we are waking up, and we are building or looking towards building new structures and or systems. Now, this is also very strong on the collective level. Don't be surprised if you see a lot coming up in the media, lots of information. But because of Neptune opposing this new moon, there could be a lot of misinformation. That's why I always say, be your own guru. Go into the heart space. Feel what you think is right or wrong. That's the best way to handle this. Don't accept something just because someone else tells you to accept it. Accept it because that's what you feel in your heart and in your soul. We've got the sun and moon in Virgo, which is an earth sign, in a supportive aspect to Pluto over here at 28 degrees of Capricorn, also in a supportive trine to Uranus over here at 22 degrees of Taurus. Again, strong earth energy, a strong energy of building the new, getting grounded. We've also got Saturn up here at 2 degrees of Pisces in a trine to Vesta over here at 0 degrees of Cancer. Vesta is the asteroid of home and the hearth and what we hold sacred and what we value, what we burn for, our mission. And then Vesta over here is in a trine, which is a supportive aspect to Ceres over here, dwarf planet Ceres, who's currently at the 29th degree of Libra. Ceres is then also in a supportive aspect back to Saturn. So this pulls in a grand trine aspect. This is a very supportive energy between these three energies, between Ceres, between Saturn, and between Vesta. So yes, there's a lot of good to be found with this new moon. It's a great new moon to set intentions under. It's a great new moon to pay attention to all of the information and transmissions that are coming in, especially on the personal levels. When it comes to the collective levels, pay very close attention to who and what is feeding you your information. It may not be totally clear. There's going to likely be a lot of misinformation coming up around these times. Water is featuring strongly within the weather patterns, and that is going to continue for some months now. So it's best to secure your home, secure your area. Have a little bit of an extra food supply just in case. It won't hurt you. That's not to fearmonger you. That's just to let you know, like, hey, this is what's going on right now. This is the astrology. Forewarned is forearmed, like I always say. As I've been saying, pay very close attention to your environment, where you are, where you're going, who you're with. Remain vigilant, remain aware, remain in your heart, be kind. Always just try and do better for yourself and for others. Show up in the best way that you can. This Virgo new moon is asking us to hone in on, in our own lives, in our own heart, in our own charts, if you know to look at your chart, or if you want to look at your chart, to see which areas of life are demanding your focus right now, where we can set intentions to show up better, to do better, to be better, to build new, to take care of ourselves in a much deeper, more helpful, more impactful way. That's Virgo. To tend to the details, but not to get bogged down by them, and to allow the magic of just letting things be sometimes. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful, and take good care of your physical health. That's also what Virgo is all about, the mind-body-spirit connection. Take care.